a teenage boy who believes the creature he sees is his dead father. The story takes place in the quiet countryside of England. We follow a teenage boy named Isaac, who returns to his old family house. The place feels empty and forgotten, as if no one has lived there for many years. Isaac slowly walks through the silent halls until he enters a small bedroom. He sits down and stares at a metal air vent on the wall. There is nothing special about it at first, but his expression tells us that it holds a memory. As he keeps staring, the film takes us back to the past. Years earlier, Isaac lived in this house as a child. His father, James, was a talented architect. He designed buildings and had a successful career. Isaac's mother had already passed away before the story began, so it had just been Isaac and his father for a long time. They lived a comfortable life, and James loved Isaac very much. Eventually, James remarried. His new wife was Laura, a woman who truly loved James and wanted to build a family together. However, Isaac refused to accept her. To him, Laura felt like a replacement for his mother, and no matter how kind she tried to be, there was always distance between them. Laura did not know how to break through the wall Isaac built around himself. Then everything changed in one violent moment. James was involved in a serious accident, the kind that destroys bones and blood and hope. When the doctors examined him, they said survival wasn't possible without machines. Isaac and Laura visited him in the hospital. His entire body was wrapped in white bandages, and the machines around him hissed and beeped, forcing air into his lungs. Doctors explained that recovery would never come. Laura leaned close to Isaac and quietly told him to say goodbye to his father. For a young boy who had already lost a mother, losing his father felt like being pushed off a cliff into darkness. After that, Isaac and Laura returned to the isolated house near the forest. Isaac moved through the days like a ghost. He barely ate, barely spoke, and spent most of his time alone. He held onto a small handheld game device, something his father once gave him. It became his anchor, something to remind him that his father had loved him. Laura was collapsing too. She adored James, and watching him fade away broke her from the inside. She turned to alcohol to numb the pain. At night, she would sit on the couch with a drink in her hand, watching old family videos until she passed out. The videos showed bright smiles and gentle hugs, snapshots of a life now buried under grief. This distance between Laura and Isaac grew wider every day. He felt abandoned, and she felt helpless. One day, James's lawyer arrived, accompanied by a social services officer. Laura learned that as James's legal spouse, the house and property now belonged to her. The lawyer also explained that James had left a will. In it, he wrote that he wished to be buried beside his first wife, in the private garden, so Isaac could visit both parents together. But there was another problem. Isaac had no living relatives from either side. He would either stay with Laura or be placed in foster care until adulthood. Laura felt trapped between duty and pain. She called her mother for advice. Her mother told her to leave, to take her share and walk away, letting someone else deal with Isaac, but Laura couldn't let that happen. Despite their fractured relationship, she cared enough not to abandon Isaac to a system that didn't love him. One night, Laura drank heavily and collapsed on the couch as usual, surrounded by empty bottles and the flickering light of old memories. Isaac slept alone in his room. While the house lay silent, strange flashes of white and blue light blinked from deep inside the forest. The ground seemed to tremble for a moment. It was unclear if it was a dream or something much stranger. The next day, a man named Robert visited the house. He had been close to James for years, and Isaac trusted him more than anyone else. Robert listened to Laura's exhaustion and told her that Isaac was still healing, and that time was the only medicine. Before leaving, he placed a hand on her shoulder and said, "Grief doesn't disappear overnight." That evening, Laura gathered her strength and told Isaac the truth. James was alive only because of machines, and soon the doctors would turn them off. Isaac refused to accept it. He believed there had to be another way. Laura didn't force him. Later that night, while both slept, another bright flash lit the forest. Laura was too drunk to notice, and Isaac was too deeply asleep to understand. In the morning, Isaac and Laura looked outside and saw thick smoke rising from the trees, as if a wildfire had swallowed the forest floor. Birds screamed overhead, and their dog barked with panic. Laura pulled Isaac back inside and dialed the fire brigade. Minutes later, the firefighters arrived and searched the area, but found no fire, not even a single burned leaf. They insisted nothing had happened. Laura stared at the calm forest, confused and uneasy. If it was only a dream, how did Isaac see it too? Life moved forward in painful steps. James finally passed away, and a funeral was held. He was laid to rest in the garden beside his first wife, just as he wanted. After the funeral, the guests left. The silence sank heavily into the house. Laura broke down again. She turned the music up loud, drowning her thoughts in alcohol and noise. Upstairs, Isaac tried to sleep, but the music vibrated through the floorboards. Eventually, he went downstairs to ask her to stop. As Isaac walked into the room, their dog suddenly barked at the dining table, teeth bared, staring at something Isaac couldn't see. Then, out of the shadows, a dark shape crawled into view. It was small, twisted, and hard to describe. Isaac and Laura locked eyes with it, fear freezing them in place. The creature darted up the stairs, and the dog chased it. Glass shattered somewhere above. Isaac and Laura ran after them. The creature had smashed through Isaac's bedroom window to escape into the night, cutting the dog in the process. Laura patched the broken window with plastic. Isaac slept in her room that night, holding the blankets close to his face. Meanwhile, deep in the forest, the creature mimicked human shapes. It studied the world around it with unnatural curiosity. It tried to imitate a voice. The voice belonged to James. The next morning, Robert returned. Laura told him what happened, but Robert believed it was just a wild animal fleeing the forest after the fire incident. Before leaving, he noticed a kitchen knife was missing. Laura checked Isaac's room but couldn't find it. That night, while Isaac slept, a shadow collected in the corner of his room. A voice whispered his name, quiet, warm, familiar. Half asleep, Isaac believed it was his father. He asked where he had been. The voice told him to come to the forest. The next morning, Isaac stood outside staring into the tree line. Laura noticed and called Robert again. Isaac insisted he saw his father. Laura called a social worker named Mary. Mary spoke softly to Isaac, asking him to draw what he saw. Isaac sketched James's face perfectly, but the body beneath it was twisted and wrong. Mary believed Isaac was suffering from grief hallucinations. Laura wondered if he needed psychiatric help. Later, Laura took Isaac into the forest. The dog, Bella, barked at a strange wooden structure hidden between the trees. Isaac ran toward it, yelling that his father built it. Laura felt a chill and grabbed him. Isaac's emotions snapped. He hit her. Laura stared at him in shock, fear creeping into her voice as she called Robert again. When Robert arrived, Laura confessed she couldn't handle Isaac anymore. Robert tried to comfort her and said that if she truly couldn't care for him, he would adopt Isaac himself. That night, Laura placed a camera in Isaac's room to keep watch. Meanwhile, Bella heard something outside and sprinted into the dark forest. Robert didn't chase her. The woods were too dark. In the forest, Bella found the wooden structure again. Inside, the creature revealed itself more clearly. It could mimic voices and partially copy faces. At one moment, it imitated Bella's head. At the next, it made terrible sounds. The real Bella rushed inside and the forest fell silent. The next morning, Bella's injured body was found. A vet examined her and said the wounds looked like knife cuts, not animal bites. Laura's mind went to the missing knife and to Isaac's rage the previous day. Later, Laura and Robert carried Bella to the garden to bury her. but the gravesite was ruined. Plants were ripped apart. The soil was disturbed. Something, or someone, had destroyed it. Laura watched Isaac closely that day. She began to fear not just the creature, but what Isaac might be capable of. That night, Isaac heard scratching inside the vent. The metal grill slowly pushed outward. For a moment, Isaac saw Bella's face. Then he saw something worse. James's face staring at him with a twisted smile. The creature told Isaac that Laura and Robert would never accept him, but the forest would. The forest would welcome him. Laura checked the camera feed and saw a face staring out from the vent. Panic seized her. She ran upstairs with Robert. When they burst into the room, the creature had vanished, and Isaac screamed that his father was right there. He also believed Bella was alive. Laura called Mary again, but Isaac refused to speak. Later, Laura searched Isaac's room one more time and found the missing knife. She collapsed onto the bed, crying. Robert followed and tried to calm her. In that fragile moment, they kissed. Isaac saw it from the doorway. In his mind, the creature's warnings became true. He ran into the forest, tears running down his face. At the wooden structure, he shouted for the creature. It appeared and told him to bring Robert there. Isaac agreed. The next morning, Laura told Robert she couldn't keep Isaac. She confessed she never wanted a child, only James. She asked Robert if he would adopt Isaac. Robert agreed. She asked him to tell Isaac during their walk. Later, Robert took Isaac into the forest. Isaac led him straight to the wooden structure. Darkness crept between the trees. Robert suggested they leave, but Isaac refused. A noise echoed from the shelter. Robert lifted his flashlight and saw the creature's black body and James's stolen face. His voice cracked as he shouted for Isaac to run. Robert turned and sprinted through the trees. Isaac stood frozen. The next scene takes place in a hospital. Robert was severely injured. Isaac told Laura that Robert slipped and fell while running. No one knew the truth. He admitted he lied earlier because he saw her kissing Robert. She apologized. Isaac confessed he destroyed the garden, but denied harming Bella. That night, Laura told Isaac she was leaving and that he would go to foster care. Isaac said nothing. Later, as the house slept, the creature quietly entered Isaac's room and lay beside him. Laura woke with a feeling of dread. She walked to his room, opened the door, and saw the creature lying next to her son. She screamed and slammed the door, injuring herself. Isaac finally saw the creature's true form and screamed. Laura rushed inside and pulled Isaac close. The creature whispered that they were family. Isaac reached for a knife but froze. Laura seized it and attacked the creature with all her strength until it fled into the forest, bleeding into the darkness. We return to the present. Isaac, now older, enters the old wooden structure in the forest. The roof has collapsed. Moss covers the wood. He steps carefully across the rotten floor and finds a photograph of himself and his father. Near his feet, he accidentally kicks a skull with a strange shape. The creature died here. Isaac leaves the forest and travels to the city. He finds Laura and visits her. He calls her Mom. After years of pain, fear, and misunderstanding, they finally became a real family. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe for more.